Hello my friends, it is your brother Hampton from Hybrid Calisthenics. One of the most common questions I get as a fitness content creator is, Hampton, how many push-ups can you do? And my answer is almost always the same, and that is, I don't know. Because I hardly ever do high rep push-ups anymore. I don't do high rep push-ups anymore. I used to, and I want to make a video today about why I stopped doing that and what I replaced that with. So the first thing I'll mention is that I'm not ideologically against push-ups. Push-ups are a big part of this channel. I've made many videos about them. A lot of people have apparently benefited, and I'm really happy. I still like to push up. It's still part of the hybrid routine. It's a central part of the hybrid routine, and I like push-ups a lot. But I'm talking about a thing where there seems to be a never-ending competition, especially among teenage guys, of doing more push-ups than the other person. I do 50 push-ups a day. I do 100 push-ups a day. I do 500. I do 5,000. It starts to get kind of ridiculous. I don't know anybody who does 5,000 push-ups a day regularly. And it makes sense because things like push-ups and pull-ups and sit-ups are often used during fitness tests. So it makes sense that we have a preoccupation with them because they're often used to measure our fitness. And if we're relatively new to understanding fitness, it can be a way to find out how fit someone is. It's like, whoa, Hampton can do 10 push-ups. I can only do 2. Wow! But as many of you watching this channel have realized that whether you can do 10 push-ups, 2 push-ups, or 0 push-ups, we all start somewhere, and we can likely find a variation that works for us and build up from there. And that's why the push-up is good, in my opinion, and that's why I make quite a bit of content about push-ups, because it's so famous. It's used in PE classes throughout the world, that even as we enter adulthood, there's a little bit of mystique and coolness around them for some people, where especially if you can't do them, you're like, man, if only I could do a bunch of push-ups. Then I would feel good about myself, and then I feel like I can accomplish my goals in fitness and beyond. So in that sense, push-ups are very important. And second, before I go into why I stopped doing high rep push-ups, I'll touch a little bit upon why I started. Now, push-ups and a lot of bodyweight exercise are very integral to a lot of martial arts cultures, and people who do martial arts are often really enthralled with them, and I was raised by people like that. So I remember early on when I was a kid, I heard about someone doing 500 push-ups a day, and I was like, whoa! As a kid, that seemed like an incredibly high number, and it seemed superhuman to me. So things like that might have played a role. And some of you have heard this story before, so I won't spend too long on it. But sometime in my teens, I started watching TV after work. Now, during an hour-long program, there were about 4 commercials, and I decided to do push-ups during each commercial break, and it was pretty enjoyable for me. At the time, I could do 25 or so solid form push-ups. It was probably slower than I needed to be. I could probably get away with more, but it was 25, and I started noticing, that's about 100 push-ups a day. And it really didn't seem that hard, so I'm gonna do that every day. I'm gonna do 100 push-ups a day. That seemed really cool to me. Now, over time, as I started doing this every day, I was able to do more, so I increased the reps and increased the sets. And I built up to around 6 sets of 82. Now, how I arrived at those exact numbers is kind of arbitrary, but it was 6 sets of 82, which comes just shy of 500 push-ups a day. Now, because it's just shy of 500 push-ups a day, feel free to call the thumbnail and title clickbait. But I often also did just a few to warm up, so maybe it did work out. I'm not sure. Oh, and I did this thing where if I did under the amount I was supposed to do one day, I would add it to the next day. So I had a constant debt of push-ups. So it was not uncommon for me to do way more than 500 a day. I think I've done a few days where it was over 1,000 a day, and I was pretty sore the next day. Now, I did this for a few years. I did it when I first entered college, for example, and during that time, if you knew me, I would sometimes just drop down onto the floor, even if it's in a parking lot, even if it's on a sidewalk, and start doing these push-ups because I wanted to get them in sometime throughout the day. And as a result, I got stronger and I got more muscular and I got better at push-ups. Now, I did get stronger and more muscular well beyond the 25 push-up point. So there are some people who think like after 10 push-ups or so, you're only doing cardio with your arms. That's not true. You can continue to build strength and muscle gains beyond that. Now, you can make a good argument that beyond 25 or 30 push-ups, there are better exercises to build strength and muscle, but my point is you can still gain at that rep range and beyond. Now, during this time, a few different things happened. Well, a lot of stuff happened, but a few different things related to push-ups and fitness. The first is I somehow got in my mind that, I'm doing a lot of push-ups daily. I wonder how long it would take for me to do 1,000,000 push-ups total. And I ran it out in my mind and it was like 70 years or something like that. And the second is, I knew that just doing push-ups wasn't a great workout routine. So it was always in the back of my mind, I need to find a full body routine. So I started doing pull-ups occasionally, squats occasionally, but it didn't stick. I'm like, no, I need to research fitness, research calisthenics, and build a full body sustainable routine that I can do and I want to do. So that was always in the back of my mind. And I'll speed up the story a little bit here, but when I did finally start researching that, that was the foundation for what I eventually came to do and teach as part of Hybrid Calisthenics, and I get to share it with all of you wonderful people. So this was a very productive time for me. But there was a mental block I had that I had to get over. You see, when I started researching and learning about, honestly, a much more intelligent full body routine than my 500 push-ups a day, I was kind of bummed that I would probably never hit my million push-up goal, which nobody would know about unless I told them. And in fact, I could tell you this now and you'd be like, oh, I believe it. So like, there's no way of proving it. I don't get a certificate for it. But in my mind, I was kind of bummed. I had written down how many push-ups I had left to do and still on a piece of paper somewhere. But I was kind of bummed and that stopped me for a little while. In fact, looking at the routine that I was planning on doing, the push-ups were so low. Like I would go from doing hundreds a day to doing push-ups not even every day. And on the days I do them, I don't even do 6 sets. I do like 2 or 3. So I was looking at that, I'm like, is that written wrong? But no, it was written correctly. For example, if you were increasing your bench press numbers, most people doing that wouldn't try to bench press every single day. But for some reason with push-ups, we just think differently. So when I finally let go of that inhibition, when I let go of this arbitrary goal of doing 1 million push-ups and doing 500 push-ups a day, for no reason other than to say that I'm doing hundreds of push-ups a day and to feel that I'm doing that, and I started pursuing something else, a different goal that might be better suited to me, that was the start of a very important era of my life. Among other things, that was at least me establishing the knowledge base of what eventually became Hybrid Calisthenics, which is my passion and livelihood, and the reason many of you are watching this video. Not only that, but I'm just a much better athlete now. I'm more mobile, I'm stronger, I can still do a lot of push-ups. If you want to know how many push-ups I can do in one go, it's probably still 80 something, if not more, and I could probably increase that if I try to train specifically that for a few weeks. It just really wouldn't offer that much benefit to me other than to say I could do a lot of push-ups. Now I want to quickly highlight something I just said before I move on. I can still do similar, if not more push-ups than I could before, but my new training method allowed me to do more than I could before. I've gotten a lot stronger, I've gotten more muscular, I've gotten more mobile, yet I retained the benefits of what I had before. So whenever you have a training method that allows you to do this, you usually want to choose it. If you can have all the benefits you're having now, maybe even slightly less, but you can have more in many different dimensions, you usually want to choose that one. So if you've gotten this far in the video, I hope you've gotten the impression that I don't hate push-ups. Of course, and I don't hate high-rep push-ups. A lot of things can still be said about them. They help build endurance, they're very accessible exercise you can do just about anywhere, and some people just like doing push-ups. For me, I just wanted to explore something else. But the lesson that I hope people can take from this, in fitness or otherwise, is what goal do you have in your mind? What thing do you think you have to do that you might not actually have to do? And if you stop doing that, would allow you to pursue things you actually want. Now, to use a fitness example, your situation could be very similar. Let's say you've been trying to bench press 315 for several years now. You've wanted to do it since you were a kid, you're almost there, you're just shy of there, but you're also facing a lot of other fitness issues. Your joints hurt, you can't touch your toes, your cardio isn't the best, but you just really want to get to 315, man, it's great. You want to feel like you're doing it. You've told your friends, they're all cheering for you. You told your spouse, they're cheering for you, but you just aren't quite there yet. Now, if that's you, I'm not trying to discourage you from reaching your goal. By all means, keep pursuing that. But you might also want to take a look at what you're neglecting, and you can ask yourself, do you actually want those other things? And if you do, you can always take a break, pursue those things, and come back to your goal of 315 and not really experience that much of a setback. So if you took a break from that and you're like, man, my joints really hurt, I'm gonna do some stretching and just focus on that and do some light resistance training for the next month or so. Oh, I might go for a jog occasionally. I might do bodyweight training or do kettlebells just for a change of pace and to change up my skill set. And if you try that and you feel better, then you might ask yourself, why haven't I been doing this all along? Now, to use an example outside of fitness, let's ask ourselves what we've been trying to do, and do we actually want that thing? Let's say, for example, you've been trying to be a doctor your entire life. You're from elementary school through high school, and now you're going through college, and you're almost there, just a few more years, and you can start to be a doctor. You might want to ask yourself, is this actually what I want? Or is it something my parents wanted for me and they pushed me towards that ever since I was a kid and I never really questioned it until just now? Is it something I actually want, or do I want to do it to impress my friends and peers because I never felt like they gave me the respect I deserved? And if I became a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant or whatever you're trying to be, you feel like you can have the status that can impress these people. What you actually want is respect. Now, I don't know any of this about you. You might love being a doctor. You might love being an accountant, and I love that for you. So what I'm saying is that sometimes we've been pursuing a goal for so long that we haven't really questioned whether or not we actually still want that for quite some time. And if there's another goal that's out there that can give us more fulfillment, more happiness, and more peace of mind, we should at least try to seek it out. So let me know what that is for you if you want in the comments. I would love to read about it. What is it that you thought you wanted, and what did you actually want out of that? My friends, thank you so much for watching. As you may have noticed throughout this video, I have a slight raspy throat. Hopefully it's going to go away in a few days, and hopefully you can still understand me. Hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day, my friend.